Aruarian Dance by Nujabes. This song got pretty popular on TikTok within the past few years. It's got a cool guitar line, but the song's been around since 1899. That's when the original melody was composed. That's when that line came to be. And then it was a pop song in the 30s, and then a guitarist covered it in the 60s on classical guitar. And that was the sample that Nujabes used for Samurai Champloo. And that's where it really kind of got its most mainstream attention, leading into the TikTok sound. But it's a really cool, sort of like a jazzy lo-fi song. That's a cool opportunity to talk about some like theoretical concepts and also to practice some cool guitar chords. So the first thing, everything is tuned down 3 half steps. So we're way down here. On the tab, you'll see on the far side, it's not your standard E, A, D, G, B, E. It's much lower. So any like regular tuner you can set custom pitches to. And just make sure you tune your guitar down. And then you're in the key of F sharp major. Now the main line, that's just a 2 chord going to the 5 chord. So this G sharp minor with the 9 is going to C sharp. So 2 to 5 in the key of F sharp major. And then that sets up that little iconic melodic line. And then the big couple things that we're going to focus on are the intro. There's a big descending chord sequence. And then in just the regular line that everyone knows, there's this kind of descending rolling sequence. Both are cool, both are totally doable. If you're a beginner, intermediate guitarist, it's a great chance to practice catching different chords. And I think if you know like the scale and kind of how these chords were selected, it makes a little bit more sense. So for the intro, you're starting on this G, and then you pick out those notes. For this little kind of the strum of the arpeggio at the bottom, you can use your ring finger and just kind of lightly roll it on. So pluck, strum, and then this line down is really important to get into that 5 chord. And then you do your G sharp minor again. And then this time you start your sequence down. A sharp minor 7, B major 7, F diminished, and then that's your F sharp major. So we resolve down here. So once again, those chords. Right in there. So if you want, it can be easy to just practice your bass note and your high pitch note without any of the interior notes leading from one chord to another. So if I wanted to do that just for G sharp, and then go to A sharp, and then my B, and then my F diminished, and then my F sharp major. I'm calling this F diminished, but in the key it would be E sharp diminished, but that can be kind of confusing, so don't worry too much about that. But once again, just hit your bass note and your most high pitched note. G sharp minor, A sharp minor 7, B major 7, F diminished, F sharp major. And then for your interior notes, practice it really slow and then pick it up to speed. And then after that, after you hit the 1, it arpeggiates a bit, but then you hit this B7 with this slide here. is creating a little bit of tension. B7, slide, F sharp, F, F sharp, but this time it's in the bass. And then this is the part where the beat comes in the lo-fi track. And that's just arpeggiating the F sharp major chord. So you do that 8 times. And then you bring it into the main lick that everybody knows, back up to G sharp. And then for that, you're doing the same thing as the intro, going back between the 2 chord and the 5 chord. But now you're doing this descending riff. And those notes will be up here on the tab, but the really important thing to listen to is that's just F sharp major going down in your scale steps. So F sharp major, like Do, Ti, La, Sol. So as you're practicing, just make sure you're catching those bass notes, and then all the the ornamental higher pitch stuff in between, that'll all just come as second nature. And then it ends up there on that little D sharp octave. And then the only other thing that's kind of cool to mention, the TikTok sound has this pretty prevalently, but you can do a lead-in to your next iteration of the verse if you slide into fret 10 here. And that's just, I use my pinky, and I try to sustain it enough so that you can kind of hear the 3 individual notes. And then the big thing too for these descending chords, it's really just like an A minor, like an open A minor chord shape. But then if you were to get the 7th on it up here, like with the pinky, you're doing that shape up here as you descend. And then you're switching over when you hit the 5 chord down here. But just keep practicing that, and I appreciate you checking it out. Let me know if you have any questions.